If you like this video, please click on the like button. Comment with the names of the movies you would like us to cover next. Click the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get notified of our latest creations. We cover 100 movies from around the world every day. To advertise with our channel, reach out to us. Our contact information is on our channel page. Now, let's move to the plot of this movie.
In 1950, attorney Charles Phelan is contacted by elderly, brushy Bill Roberts, who seeks a pardon he was promised 70 years earlier by the governor of the New Mexico Territory, dismissing Bill's claim that he is really William H. Bonney, aka Billy the Kid, widely believed to have been killed in 1881. Phelan asks if Bill has any proof. Single quote. Bill's story begins in 1879, as the famed outlaw has formed a new gang with Arkansas, Dave Rudebour and Pat Garrett. In the wake of the Lincoln County War, New Mexico Governor Lew Wallace has issued warrants for the arrest of everyone involved. Billy's former compatriot Doc Scurlock, now a schoolteacher in New York, is captured and imprisoned alongside fellow regulator Jose Chavez Y. Chavez and their old enemies. Single quote. Now the most wanted man in New Mexico, Billy meets with Governor Wallace, who agrees to pardon him if he testifies against the Dolan Murphy faction. Instead, Billy discovers he has been tricked into being arrested with no chance of testifying. He escapes, returning with Dave and Garrett and posing as a lynch mob to free Doc and Chavez, who reluctantly join him on the Mexican Blackbird trail to Mexico. Desperate for reinforcements, the gang accepts farmer Hendry William French and teenage Yankee Tom Folliard, while Garrett decides to stay behind to open a boarding house. Single quote. Billy demands a $500 debt from former ally John Chisholm, leaving two of the cattle baron's men dead. Furious, Chisholm joins Wallace and they offer Garrett the job of Lincoln County Sheriff and $1,000 to hunt Bonney down. Forming a posse, Garrett recruits a journalist to document their pursuit. Billy leaves a taunting message for Garrett, and Rudebour tries to dig up an Apache burial ground, resulting in a knife fight with the Mexican Indian Chavez. Quote. Billy and the gang reach the town of White Oaks, spending the night at a bordello run by his former companion Jane Greathouse. A lynch mob gathers, and Deputy Carlisle offers to let the gang go in exchange for handing over Chavez. But Billy dresses the deputy as Chavez and pushes him outside, where he is shot dead by the mob. Garrett tracks the gang to the bordello and burns it down, while Jane strips naked to humiliate the townsfolk and rides away. Single quote. The gang is followed closely by Garrett's posse and Tom is shot dead by Garrett, leading Billy to admit that the Mexican Blackbird was only a ruse to keep the gang together. Doc tries to leave for home, but is shot by one of Garrett's men and sacrifices himself to enable his friends to escape. Though Chavez is wounded and Billy is captured. Brought back to Lincoln, Billy is sentenced to death and is visited by Jane. She leaves him a pistol in the outhouse, which he uses to kill two guards and escape to Fort Sumner. Billy finds his gang, but Dave has fled for Mexico, and a dying Chavez leaves to meet his fate alone. That night, an unarmed Billy is confronted by Garrett, and asks to be allowed to run to Mexico while Garrett tells the authorities that he killed him, certain that Billy would not be able to resist coming back to the United States. Garrett refuses, and prepares to shoot Billy in the back. In the morning, a burial is held for Billy, but Garrett's horse is taken by an unseen figure. In 1950, Brushy Bill concludes his story, convincing Phelan that he is Billy the Kid. An epilogue reveals that Dave was beheaded in Mexico as a warning to other outlaws. Garrett's book was a failure and he was shot and killed in 1908. Brushy Bill met with the governor of New Mexico. But despite corroboration from several surviving friends of the kid, he was discredited and died less than a month later. Whether or not he was Billy the Kid remains a mystery.